last time you fought, man, it was a epic clash with Paul Felder back in July, man. That was a fight. What have you been up to since then, man? What's the focus been like? You've been vacationing, you've been training. What it's been doing?
A little of both. Doing vacationing, training. Had a good mix. This seemed like, it was like a 12-week camp, but it was like there were a couple of vacations in the middle of it. But one of the vacations was like mental preparation. I went to UFC 229. I watched McGregor, Khabib. That was a cool experience, and seeing a fight of that magnitude go down, and just seeing what the fans really attached to, and thinking about all the things that I could do to get more fans to pay attention to me, because I'm proud of my art, my martial art. The platinum style is a badass style, and it'll be a household style. I could have schools across the country teaching families how to protect themselves in times of war. Who knows, right? And that's some silly stuff, but just a little party goes a long way. I'm not the type, I cannot just seclude myself completely. I go crazy. So I definitely fire up, smoke some herb when I can, when USADA's not on my ass, and I go out and get drunk from time to time, and in Florida, in Orlando, I can get every day of the week you can party. There's a party somewhere, but in Albuquerque you only get like Friday, Saturday. So I went to Florida for a little bit, and then went to Vegas and really turned up in Vegas. I was so tired of turning up after I got back from Vegas. It was like the last 5 weeks of camp. I was ready to work again, and it's something that happens. You get this, you train, and then your body kind of withers a little, and then you go and you relax and you party and you enjoy, because what's the point of doing all this hard work if you're not enjoying your life? So, and then when you get back to training, it's like when you train, and then you hit this wall, and then you party a little bit, you like kind of start at that wall, and then you keep going forward, and then you do it again, and then you starting up here. So we're gonna see the best platinum mic pair we've ever seen, for sure.
That's awesome. So you talk about the platinum style. Is that kind of like a whole philosophy? How would you describe the platinum style? Does it include like kind of that philosophy if you need a little recreation in there as well? What is the platinum style that you could be out there teaching?
Power and aggressiveness. I think that's a big thing in fighting. Going to Jackson Wink and talking with my boy Frank. See, there's this thing. It's like when I got to the UFC, I was hungry. I was starving for it. And then after a couple fights in it, you paid well, you're eating good, everybody loves you, and it's hard to stay angry. And my boy Frank the Tank is showing me that, because he's a military guy. He had his mind. They train those military men's minds, men and women, to they're crazy. And it's all survival instinct, and it's unbelievable. And he keeps my mind like, we're not friends this weekend, we're not shaking hands, we're gonna headbutt him, and we're gonna bite him if we have to, and you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta think nasty, you gotta think crazy. So and I take that, and then you take the platinum style. He keeps my mind in the right place, and we take the mitts that he shows me. We take the grappling that I've learned in Florida with Fusion XL. So, and I'm bringing those teams together now. We got Fusion XL and Jackson Wink, and then the platinum style is me putting it all together, putting what everybody else's ideas, and the way me and my coaches communicate now, it's like we'll sit there and we'll argue back and forth. He'll say, you should do it like this. And I'll say, but if I do it like this, I think this. And he's like, but this. And then I'm like this. And then I'm like, okay. And then we come up with something in the middle, and we're gonna see a big ass knockout because of that on Saturday.
So that anger and that frustration or that craziness, I mean, it's strategic too. It's not just an edge, right? I mean, it kind of helps you in your game.
Absolutely, man. It's a part of the sport. You know, I've watched some people I've met that want to fight, and they're trying and they're training, and I just don't see that fire in them. I put it in them. I do mean things to them, and I don't even do it accidentally or on purpose. It's just natural. Like it's like it comes from God that I'm in these people's life or they're in mine, so that they can see and I can be around them and they can see like how you have to be to make it farther in this, because you gotta be mean. You gotta want to smash their skulls in with your fists, period. Like, and like when I say that, it doesn't do it justice. The way that I feel on the inside when I say I'm gonna smash your skull with my fists, like I'm picturing and I can feel your brain in my hand. Like I'm gonna eat you alive. I'm gonna fucking kill you, period.
So when you hear people say like, oh, this is just a sport, this is just a competition, you know, we'll hug it out afterwards, you feel like, you know, they're doing themselves a disservice?
Depends on how long their arms are and if their boxing is good, right? I got this short reach, and I feel like I've always wanted to been that type of fighter, be so flashy and not be so aggressive. But you know, I'm the type, I get hit sometimes, and I'm gonna fucking hit you back. So then I just accept that I'm gonna get hit. And then, you know, I try to move a little bit and I might get touched, but I'm coming with like 10 punches. I'm just gonna keep throwing and there ain't gonna be no stopping me. So, you know, if I had longer reach, maybe I would say, you know, just sit back and be patient and stay behind the jab, but I'm not long enough for all that, so I gotta go in. It's up to me to go forward. I was just telling somebody, I was doing a digital interview, and I was saying, oh, you know, they were asking about coaches, you know, what do you think? When your coaches are yelling at you in the side because they're telling you to do stuff? And I'm like, I wish I could just be like, shut up, yo. Like, we're both tentative, like trying to get to each other, and you gotta feint. You just keep and neither person wants to go first, because then fucking might get caught. And they're yelling, go Mike, you gotta go, and I'm like, fuck you, you go. I don't want to get hit right now. Shit.
Talk about the way this fight came together, man. You talk about coaches. I mean, you end up in Cowboy's gym, and then all of a sudden you're fighting Cowboy. And it sounds like between the two of you guys, there's no beef, there's no issue. But how did this fight come together that you go to his gym and then now you guys end up fighting?
Man, that wasn't his gym, man. He come there sometimes to try to steal some bodies to bring to BMF ranch so he could train over there, because everybody was interested in going and hanging out with Cowboy Cerrone and at his ranch and seeing if they could get on the boat and shit. He looked out and he did those things with me, and when we sparred, I took it so easy on him. And I think that he thinks that I'm an easy win to get the most wins in UFC history, and that's just not a fact. Why have I not been finished? Why have I not been KO'd? I've been dropped. I've been bleeding since the beginning of the fight and been pouring blood on my opponent's faces after. There's no shutting me down. There's no stopping me. There's no quitting me. I'm a relentless warrior, and I'm gonna rip his face apart.
What have you learned about Cowboy being there? I think one of his biggest concerns that he trained there so long that coaches or training partners are going to give you specific information, whether it be strategy, whether it be psychological, whatever it may be. Is there anything that you can say that you've picked up specifically about him in your time at Jackson?
Yeah, we focused a lot on the kicks and countering the kicks, deflecting and defending, getting inside the kicks, working from inside the kicks, and you know, working all the way out and closing the gap on the kicks. It's kicks that we're talking about here with Cowboy. He's a great kicker, and but he's very stationary. And once I do close the gap, you know, we were watching yesterday the Nate Diaz fight, and he just, you know, one of the coaches told me, we thought that Nate Diaz was going to keep his distance on Cowboy and fight at a jabbing range, and he closed the gap on him. He grabbed his head. Now, Cowboy didn't want to take Nate Diaz to the ground. I know he does want to try to take me to the ground, but I'm far too strong. I'll grab an underhook, rip him off me. I'll probably end up on top of him and crush his face with some elbows. It's other than the kicking range, which I'm not going to be in, I'm going to be all the way out or all the way in. You know, that's the only thing he's got, and I'm going to crush him everywhere else.
Is this personal at all to you? I mean, is there something because of the situation?
Of course it's personal. It's you're my enemy right now. You know what I'm saying? I'll shake your hand Sunday morning. And, you know, he's funny. I saw him, he made a joke on his IG yesterday, and he saw me today when he was going to check in. And I was getting my makeup done and shit, and I was fixing my hair in the mirror, and he was like, your hair looks good. And like, I didn't say shit, and I just walked in the room to do my interview. And then I was in the room in the interview, and I was thinking, I should have said, damn. Yeah, it's easy to say my hair looks good when you bald, bitch.
What does this fight mean to you? I mean, because Cowboy, he's had some losses, but he's still a name. He's still a big name, right? So what does this fight mean to you specifically?
Man, this fight means $150,000. This fight means, you know, he's got money, man. He's been here a long time, and he's opened a lot of doors for himself, and I think that's mainly what the sport of fighting is about, is for guys that are aggressive like us to have a platform that other people can see a good side of us and want to use us and pay us for other things. And, you know, the platinum marijuana business is on the rise, and, you know what I'm saying? But, and then, you know, getting other things going for myself, speaking of that, that's going to make fighting even better for me. That I'm going to fight just because I want to, not because I have to. And when that day comes, everybody better watch the fuck out.
So perfect case scenario, man, how's this thing go down? You come out and you dominate and get it done quick, or you have another one of those epic wars where you guys are covered in blood and the crowd's going nuts?
It's a 50-50 chance on either one of those, as far as I'm concerned. It's going to be a quick KO, or it's going to be a bloody fucking battle. Let's do either one. And either way, I'm coming out on top. That's what I know.